Hello, church, and thank you for taking a minute to watch this video. I will try to be very brief. Sometimes typing out long emails and letters gets a little monotonous, and so this is a great way for me, at least, to communicate with you. As I stand here in the narthex of McGuire Methodist Church, I just want to tell you I'm excited about the work that we get to do as the church this Sunday. Now, I know it doesn't sound like much, church conference, what is that? But this is part of this new path forward for us as a congregation. We're going to come together. We're going to celebrate that we've had a baptism. We have others in the future coming forward that we've had people reconnect with our church. There are guests who are talking about being a part of our church. There's confirmation coming. So we'll celebrate all of those things. And then we have some business that we need to take care of as well. Part of governing ourselves, guiding ourselves as we go forward is this first piece of business, which is to approve, as a congregation, the discipline of McGuire Methodist Church. Now, what this means is very briefly, and you'll hear a little more talk about it from our lay leader, Gary Stringer, is that we are naming this document as the document that sort of guides us with regard to the local church. Now, ultimately, the Bible guides us, of course, and this document affirms that. But there are also some things that we have to do as far as our structure and organization that are defined here in these pages. And so this is important. If you've not had a chance to read this, I will again encourage you to check your email, or if you'd like to come by the church office, we'll make one available. We'll have some additional copies. We're not trying to print out all 24 pages for all 200 members of the church, but I do want to assure you that we do want to make it available to those who are interested. So that's item number one, is we will vote on the discipline of the McGuire Methodist Church. Now, this document is an imperfect document made by imperfect people, so it can be amended as needed, but only in the context of this group that comes together, the church conference. Because we believe that if we're going to do something that directs our future, we're going to do it together in one voice. So the discipline is our first item of business. Second on that list will be one of the things that's described in the discipline is who is going to lead from the laity on our administrative side of things. You have a pastor, you have some staff members, and we do some things on the day-to-day work. But who's going to help guide us with things like budgets and things like staff reviews, pastor reviews? Who's going to be that voice that helps us when it comes to acquiring new property or getting rid of property, going into debt, or paying off major pieces of equipment that may break down, things like that. So all of that work is done by this group of people. And we're going with a different model, one that we haven't used in recent history here at McGuire Methodist Church, and that's the one board model. And there was a list sent out of 15 names, and those names were selected and put forward by the nominations team. I'm the chair of that team, and there's about 8 other folks who got around the table with me, and we prayerfully went through and asked who would be a good leader over the next 1, 2, and 3 years here at McGuire Methodist Church. So we're looking for your affirmation of this list of people. Again, if you don't have this, if you haven't gotten it in your email, we want to provide that for you. We have it here at the church office. And then the final thing is we're at a crossroads with our parsonage. And there's some offers out there, some interest from the community about maybe purchasing that property and using it for families and others in the area. And so that's brought up the conversation here at McGuire Methodist Church. What are we going to do with our parsonage? As you know, my family and I live in the city limits of West Monroe. We're very established and happy there. We don't have a need for the parsonage. And so there's not a big concern for what we do with it on the part of the Hornsbys. We actually think we want McGuire to do what makes most sense missionally. And so there are 3 options that have been put forward. One is to keep the parsonage and maybe use it as a piece of real estate, some sort of real estate asset, to lease it out or something like that. That one's got some traction. That brings a lot of work. And as you know, there's a lot of expense with maintaining a piece of property. There's another option. This was actually the second option that was thrown out, which was to simply say, why don't we sell the property and then we'll have the money in our reserves to spend as needed in our near future. And I threw out a third option. It's a kind of a Wesleyan thing, the third option, I've always been told. And I said, why don't we convert this physical, this real estate asset, into a financial asset? We sell the parsonage and then invest that money and create a trust or an endowment that says we won't touch the principal, and then we'll use the proceeds of that money to fund air conditioning projects, capital expenses. If you can hear the drills and the work being done in the background, upgrades to our audio-visual system in the sanctuary. So it's a great example if you can hear that. So we would have money in perpetuity for generations that would be generated from this parsonage. I really like that idea, that aspect of it. We're going to have open discussion. If you have a strong feeling one way or the other, that's fine. What I love about this congregation is that back in 1999, 2000, you all made a decision that was a generationally motivated decision. You bought this property, you started building, and you didn't do it for you, those who were there. You did it for your children's children. Well, I think this third option is kind of in that same vein. It's a decision that says, I want to leave something for my children's children. So those things are all coming up. The last thing I'll show you is there'll be a very simple ballot. It just has a yes or no on the first two items with regard to the discipline, and then with regard to the nominations that were put forward. And then the third option will be, well, just check which one you like. Do you want to keep the property and try to use it for something else? Do you want to sell the property and just put the money in reserves? Or would you like to take that money, if we sell the property, and invest it and create an asset that we have for generations to come? This ballot will be given to members only at the church. If you're not sure if you're a member of McGuire Methodist Church, I'll tell you, please call me. We have a list, and it's basically someone who's either been here a long time, or maybe in the recent years or months you've come forward and you said, I would like to be involved in a deeper way here at McGuire Methodist Church with my prayers, presence, gifts, service, and witness. If that's you, then you'll be given a ballot, and you'll be able to vote after we've presented all the business, and we will, of course, receive those and count them. And that's all part of it. So if you'll come this Sunday, we'll have worship at our normal time at 10:30. And then after worship at 10:30, we'll go to the fellowship hall for a covered dish meal. Bring something that you enjoy eating, something that you could share with one other or two other or three other people. And then we'll have a great time doing that. So God bless you and thank you. I'm looking forward to our first church conference. I think it's going to be a great time for us. It's a beginning of us moving in a new direction as a Methodist church in this area. We want to honor our roots, and we also want to look forward to where God is calling us. If there's any questions or any concerns that you have about this going forward, we're going to go slow. We're going to have discussion. I'm available to answer questions. Our lay leader, Dr. Gary Stringer, is available. We encourage you, reach out to us. Let's do this well. We're on the cusp of, I think, great things here at McGuire. We want to make these decisions that will impact us in a positive way. So, again, thank you and bless you all. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday.